Taking hyperbole, poetry is on the way. Taking hyperbole, the poetry kettle is whistling, yay. Taking hyperbole, poetry and life and death and discussion. Sometimes hyperbole, sometimes hyperbole, and cake poetry is on the way.
And hello!
Hey, here we are.
Again. You know, I got to say that song, you know how just before we were going to get on, I was like, yeah, hopefully it'll be okay because I feel kind of like blah today. And then I listened to your song and then I don't feel blah anymore. So.
Oh, well, it is the magic of that Farfisa organ. And I love that organ. So, it's a beauty. It's a beauty. I'm going to tell them about it today.
Oh, yeah. Awesome. Yeah, that thing is so it's got like a certain quirky, blatant imperfection or something. Yeah, I absolutely love.
Old and it's got weird buzzes. And there's this, for people who know music out there, the E major chord has a G sharp in it. And our G sharp will just sometimes turn into like a totally different note. And I'm like, trying to get to wake up and get out of there. I noticed that if I just let the thing warm up, it doesn't do it as much, but I was just like, what?
Oh, that's awesome. Well, that's like me as I get older. I'm actually going to have my birthday this month and I'm going to be 54. And I too am starting to have a lot of buzzes and need to warm up before I get going.
That is the life lesson from the Farfisa organ. Thank you.
You may be quirky, you may be crotchety and get the wrong note, but you're still working.
That's right. That's right. Just be patient, everyone. Be patient.
Yeah, you survived the 70s right there. That's something.
That is something. Exactly. And it's kind of cool. It's funny. I saw a drawing that somebody posted on Instagram of like just like a line drawing of a cartoony person being like, like staring at something. And it's like, this is old people trying to figure out the credit card machine at the store where I work. And I'm like, but you don't understand, children. That technology has changed about 50 times in the last 20 years. And we're all just like trying not to mess up and break our credit cards and whatever. I literally put my credit card in backwards the other day at Menards. I was like, what? Oh, I put it in backwards. Womp womp. So, oh Lord.
I think I have one card that doesn't have a chip, and it's at Tractor Supply. And so whenever I go to get chicken food, I stick it in. I stick it in. Why does your credit card not have a chip, guys? When you have a chip reader right there, like that's misleading.
Yeah, they're just, I guess, keeping it lively. Who knows?
Yeah, and I always just by habit, I'll be like, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, stick it in.
Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. Oh. Oh, well, we had a nice conversation while we waited for me to realize that it took me forever to be brave enough to use the chip. And now they've got this tap thing, and I've tried to use it at Lamar's and I've succeeded, and then if I do it too fast I'm just like boom, and they're like, oh, you gotta kind of hold it there. Okay, I don't know, it's changing again, children. Oh, in my day they had the runner, like when I worked at Hy-Vee, literally in high school, it was still that thing and keep the tear off the carbon and all that stuff. So
wow, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, those were the days. And then there was the call-in thing, where you had to it had to hook up to the phone and call in. And it was bizarre. Too much technology change.
That is so funny. No, I love it. Like more, faster, chips in our heads. That way we just think.
Don't even slow down.
Bye. And then it's done and we're out of here.
No. If it reads my thoughts though, I'm just going to be in trouble. They're going to be like, don't look at my butt. And I'm like, I didn't mean to. It just happened, and stuff like that. So they're going to have to overcome that, and then it'll be commonplace, but there'll be that awkward moment where they realize everybody's looking at everybody's butt or neck or whatever. Necks are kind of sexy, I think. So, and now you know too much again because I spilled the beans. Well,
speaking of butts,
on that note, why don't I draw a question to ask you?
Okay. That's right, because we were having our question interviews.
Yes, we are doing it little by little, 2 questions a time. So here's what I have. Either I wrote this one or you wrote this one, but we mixed them up. Oh, if you could be trapped in a haunted castle with anyone, real or living, fiction or real, who would it be and why?
Damn it. That's assuming that your husband is also there. Or you couldn't have him,
or that he was out of town.
Yeah. Or
Right.
in a different castle with a different
fantasy.
person.
It was fantasy night. We had an understanding. Yeah, exactly.
All right, so we've cleared that up.
All right.
So I would say Neil Gaiman. I would totally, and it wouldn't. Well, maybe like for a little kissing and stuff because he's pretty cute.
Yeah,
but it would mostly be just talking. I probably wouldn't actually want to do. Wait, you know what? I'm probably divulging too much. I'll just say Neil Gaiman.
You could just say Neil Gaiman, and I wouldn't press. But if you want to share more, always welcome. Yeah.
It's not like this is a common fantasy of mine that I know all these details, but
no, not at all. But see, even if it were, I would be like, oh, the answer is enough. I can fill in the story just because I enjoy doing that. That's how I put myself to sleep at night is various settings, various people, figure out the plot, and stuff. So, and there goes my cat. Yes. He's half Siamese, so he's loud.
Can it be a ghost?
Yes.
That way it's a haunted castle. So we're assuming there's already ghosts, but if there's not a ghost, it would definitely be a ghost. I mean, I love Neil Gaiman. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
But a ghost would definitely top that. Any ghost.
Or
Neil Gaiman.
Ghost. Yeah. The ghost of Rilke, who actually loved solitude, but I bet we could talk him out of that. I bet we could bring him around.
It's a haunted castle. That's already solitude right there.
Yeah. And this is like the atmosphere is there. And you are going to have something to write about. Even though you're a ghost, you are going to have something to convey when this is all over. So nice.
That would be my pick. All right. Yes. I have my interview box. I'm going to call it that now. That is the new name of it. Yeah. I am going to pick a question. I can't remember which of us did that question.
I think that was yours because I was like, I'm dazzled by that question.
That's probably why I had my answers in such great detail.
Yeah, you were like, well, I better just let my mind roam on that one for a moment. Twist my arm.
Ooh. This may be yours because I don't remember this one. And do you, before I ask you this, do you need to do anything with your cat?
You know what? Okay, I'll go stick him upstairs. He wants out, and
yeah. Okay.
I don't. Hang on, kitty. I'm so used to you. You are gonna go see Clyde. Yes, you are. Hey, Clyde, watch the cat, will you? We're doing some poetry. Go see Bubba. Okay. The door is shut.
That was not me complaining about the. I just didn't know if that would be distracting to you,
right?
Like the chihuahua in my face. Yeah.
Siamese cats are the most vocal, and he is half Siamese, and he is definitely that. And I'm just used to it, so I'm kind of glad you brought it up because people might be like, "Oh, why don't you take care of your cat?" I'm like, well, he's just complaining at the door, and he can't go out by himself because he doesn't have sense. And
he can just
square it away. Yeah, exactly.
Well, usually I have a dog behind me, making noises or farting or something. So
we do love our animals. Yeah.
Oops. All right. My question, which I think you may have written. What do you think happens when we die?
Aha. Oh, wow. You know what? This is a fascinating question. I mean, and I've shared on Instagram, my father actually died about a week ago. And so, I think it's very, very, very veiled, very unknown. I know that when I was a kid, I grew up as a Christian, and my mother would, her mom died when I was like 2, and she was always telling us about heaven. And she actually read a passage from the Bible. I don't remember where. I'm going to say Revelation, but about like all these jewels and stuff. And that's how my mind interpreted it. Things made like gold streets, jasper, this and that. And it's like the idea was, so many jewels. So, and that could very much be metaphor. It's, now that, as we get older, it's like, some of it is metaphor. Some of it is other, it could be, but so to me, it's very mysterious, but I kind of like the idea. Plato and both Plato and the Apostle Paul made reference to what we're experiencing in life is shadows on the wall. Like the thing with Plato, I believe my philosopher husband told me, is that it's like your living life is like living in a cave, and there's a fire and there are shadows on the wall from outside the cave. And you think the shadows on the wall are the reality. But if you left the cave, you would see so much more. And so, and like through a glass darkly, or smeared glass is like how Paul put it. And so that is like so fascinating, but I don't really know what I'm like the queen of I don't know what I don't know. And so sometimes I just let it be a mystery. But the idea that it's like life is closing one book and opening not a book, but like a portal to another world, you know? And so I think it's going to be like, oh gosh, you see colors you didn't know about before, and you understand truths that made no sense at the time, because, you know, there's always been that pertinent question, at least in my youth, people would say, why do bad things happen to good people? And, you know, my faith would be like, well, that's because evil forces are allowed to reign right now. But it's very, very frustrating when I think it's harder sometimes believing in God, because you're like, God, you could have like zapped that better and you didn't, you know? And so I think you get real hurt. I do, when stuff like that happens. And it seems that life is unequal and things like that. But I feel like that'll be something that either we'll so thoroughly understand once we're dead, or we'll be like, that doesn't matter because this matters, you know, which sounds cold-hearted and bizarre. But I just think there's so much that we don't understand. And I think that a lot of people go around feeling like we do understand everything because of how far technology has come and science. And I'm glad science came as far as it did, because I had to have a surgery like 20 some years ago that, you know, I might not have lived if I hadn't had it 100 years ago or something like that. And so we have come a long way, but I really just think there's more that we don't know. So to me, I allow it to be a mystery, but I believe that that it's just it's going to be kind of glorious and fabulous and eternal. And I still love the idea from Adventure Time where Finn is in the pillow world, or the pillow world or whatever, and it's like he lives a whole life like Captain Picard. And then it's like when he dies, it's like, whoa, here it comes, woo! And it's like he's going down a slide. I'm like, yes, I'm gonna look forward to death as that. I quick sidebar, I read in a book before I had my son, and I was going to go real natural, and I did. It worked out. I'm not criticizing anyone who didn't have natural childbirth, because I know there are so many factors that sometimes you just need some kind of intervention. I actually had to be induced, but beyond that, it was natural because he was so big. But I had read in a book that in some percentage of women, maybe 10%, they experience birth as, I kind of wait so you don't spit, as orgasm. And I was like, you know, I think I'm just going to assume that I'm one of those. Now, I wasn't, but having the mindset that was possible kind of made me like relaxed and excited and like positive about it. And so
that's funny.
Just a sidebar, because
I think I've heard that.
Yeah. What? I can't imagine it being true, having given birth to a 9-pound, 12-ounce baby without drugs,
that definitely was not my experience.
It was a small percentage in the book. And it also could have been one of those inflated statistics that they may not even have known was inflated. I think people sometimes do their best with statistics, and there can be factors that aren't addressed and stuff like that. So
yeah, or it's one of those things like the Emperor's New Clothes, you know, like, oh yeah, that was me.
Yeah, really. Yeah.
Also, who's gonna know?
Yeah, I'm a midwife. I should say it was me. So to encourage the women or whatever.
It won't. It's not so bad. You might get on.
Knowing wink, and then they write her down as a yes. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, she knows what she's talking. Oh, I know what you're talking about. Do you know what?
And they just had one of those chick moments where we held each other up, but then it got misconstrued. So
yeah, like so many chick moments.
Yeah, exactly. But thank God for them. That's all.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, we have our poetry challenge, which has been super interesting. This is probably a very interesting Cake and Hyperbull, because we're really what, Thursday? Is this Thursday?
This is Thursday for us,
but
yes.
But you will see this on Saturday, and that's because I have an all-day tarot class that I'm super excited about. But you know, that's where
Lifelong
I
learning.
will be. I know. And I was like, I get to train with the lady that I've been learning from, but she's like, yeah. So, anyways, I won't bore you with all
Nice.
the details. Super excited.
Cool.
That's why we're taping this, and then we had taping it early, and
Yeah.
then we had our challenge, which I don't even remember what the challenge was last. But we decided not to do that.
I just realized I forgot to use mausoleum cake, and that's all right. It
Oh,
might fit in if I rework it, but it won't be today. I'm not gonna do it right on the fly, but
I
yeah.
also didn't use mausoleum cake, so that was obviously part of the challenge is to forget to use
That I
mausoleum.
remember. There was a form, and then we forgot the form, and then you found this really cool
Well,
form that I
we had a
like.
second one though. Remember, we were gonna do
Yes.
like we couldn't remember the first one, and then we said let's
Right.
change it to this one. And then and then we forgot that one.
Yeah.
Totally forgot what that was, and so we decided to do
Me too.
Calaveras Letarius, which I don't know if
Yes.
I'm pronouncing that right.
And I think this was great because, as you
Calaveras,
mentioned, it kind of ties in with Day of the Dead.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's very timely, and I'm excited about it. And it's a really cool form that I think a lot of people can, like, because I was looking into it while I was doing it, and it's like Spanish teachers, and I don't know if they were high schools or colleges or what, but kind of I got some great instructions from a Spanish teacher's website.
Oh,
and I was like,
nice.
oh, she's telling it so well, because I couldn't figure it out. Well, I just cursorily looked at it, and then I was like, okay, now I'm going to take notes and then do this. And I did this morning at Panera.
Oh, wow.
After I dropped off my kid.
Well,
So,
after
yeah.
this is done, I'm going to ask you to send me those notes because I actually about 5 minutes before this show went, oh, I need to write my I almost said stupid poem. I need to write my poem only because I haven't done it. That's what's wrong with it.
That's its fault.
Yes, exactly.
Agreed.
Not its fault necessarily, but I'm going to blame it.
Let's do.
Yeah, so I didn't even get to look at him. So I'm like, oh, okay, it's like an epitaph.
But you're
swinging
Angela Yuriko Smith. It's going to be transcendent.
You're very kind.
Hey.
How much do I pay you? Do I pay you?
I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah. So I am eager to hear what a well-researched Cavaleris Letarius is like. And then we can see what a non-researched winging it Cavaleris Letarius is like.
I will say a bit of winging it went into it. For one thing, a lot of them are in Spanish, and I don't read Spanish, but there were ones that were also in English, and they seem to follow, the ones that I saw seemed to be like that, what to me was just like drugs and food and drink when I was in high school and college, and that's the romantic style of, every other line, like an A-B kind of rhyming scheme, which I love. And so I did that. I don't think that, I think that if anything, if nothing else, our motto is kind of like, hey, there's freedom in this. And so, I mean, poetry has been rules, has broken the rules, has rewritten the rules, has unwritten the ruls so many times that we're all in good company every time we kind of fly by the seat of our pants. So the main thing is we're writing our poetry. So
exactly.
That's what I say. Okay, my calavera is Death of Death. La muerte, friend, you overdosed and fell in the luminous arms of Der Tod, your leather-clad, haloed, beguiling host in his Bavarian castle abode. And you were distracted, as I would be too, and waltzed into dawn and forever. You danced a twin whirlwind and feathered and flew into realms beyond reason and weather. Expanding your magic, but keeping it close, you slipped past the universe known and crafted your balalaika-trimmed prose and lightning of poetry, sinew and bone. Gone is the ache in the shoulders of grievers, dispelled the consumption, dispelling, dispel the dread and the feverish joy cantilevers, miseria, pertinent affliction relievers. Now mourn them, but why? Who can tell? So what I didn't explain, La muerte, of course, is death in Spanish. Der Tod is death in German. And I've gone through this fascination in my time of poetry where I studied German in college, and one day I was working at the library and I don't know what I was listening to. Oh, Der Tod ist ein Dandy by Einstürzen Neubauten. This is a song that means death is a dandy. Okay. Der Tod. And I immediately realized death is male in German. It's masculine. You know,
Mhm.
it's fascinating to me. We're English speakers. We have one definite article, the, and then other languages will be like, well, this noun is feminine, this noun is neutral, this noun is
Mhm.
masculine. So I looked up death in a bunch of languages, and it's female or feminine, I guess, in Spanish, and in French, it's like neutral in Hungarian and Romanian.
Oh,
It's
cool.
male in German or masculine in German. So I just couldn't help but like, because, you know, I am prone to romantic stories. I couldn't help but be like, well, death meets, you know, Spanish death meets German death, and they start dancing and can't stop, and they sort of just either transcend or die themselves, because the poem is Calavera, which is like something or someone that's not actually dead
Mhm.
meets its death. And so how does that happen? So that's
Yeah.
where that was coming from, my fascination with the word the in many languages.
You know what? That is so cool. I don't even want to read mine now.
That's your Angela. Tell your Angela. That's
Yeah,
what
I don't know what that means.
put on your poetry jewels. I used to, when I'd write poetry in Texas, and I was like, I don't know what I am. I think I'm nothing, because life was weird. And I'd put on a black turtleneck that I actually bought from the children's, like the extra largest of the children's at Target, from the school uniforms. It was like a black turtleneck, and then like all my costume jewels. And I'm like, okay, now I'm a poet and I'm writing poetry. So, so put on your Parisian turtleneck and costume jewels and read us a Calavera.
All right.
Please.
This is my, I'm going to call it my 5-minute Calavera, because
Okay.
I had 5 minutes to write it. Didn't know what I was doing.
And
Found
that's
out
its
it
own
was supposed to
challenge.
rhyme from you, because I was like, they don't rhyme or something, right? And you're
Right.
like,
Hey,
I haven't actually looked at one.
I don't think they have to, because you know what?
Yeah.
It's poetry.
That's
And
true. There are no
that's
rules
right.
in poetry. So,
Exactly.
and it's very short, because 5 minutes into it, I got distracted by, oh, this is the lip color that I need. So this is my true confessions. So if
Got
you're having that crappy poetry day, it's okay.
It's okay.
So, and I called this "To My Former Self" because it's supposed to be an epitaph for something or someone. To the weird kid I was on the train with no social skills, refrain from hating the world. Evolve. Let the enraged tears dry and dissolve. Justified hatred changes nothing. The only thing you get from seeing red is blinded.
Oh, I like it.
And the end doesn't rhyme, because I was like, I can't do this anymore. I gotta find this lip color.
Hey, you know, those 5-minute challenges, they do them in drawing. They probably do them in writing as well. Well, I know they do, because I've done them.
I know they do, like, prose and stuff, but
So
that would be interesting to do a 5-minute
its own
like
thing.
poetry thing.
Yeah. So we're gonna have to do that. Okay, I hate to say, I have lost my earbuds. I told you this. I'm wearing these. They plug into the phone, and my phone just went 20%. So this is going to be the fastest cake and Hyperbull ever. So all right. Sorry to hurry everyone. With
Read your next one. Well, and I already told you I've got a board meeting after this. So, and I would say BORED. It's not HWA. So don't get mad at me, anybody.
I get it. I do. I'm going to read one that my father wrote in 1968 to honor him. This is about his sister, who I don't believe received a name, because she lived 3 hours. So while we're on the subject, I will read Lydia by Rex Satterfield, my late father. A full 18 years you are this year, and as I see you, more beautiful than any terpsichore, with beach brown hair past your shoulders and moonlit bay blue eyes that peer from a harbor of innocence. Your beauty engulfs and drowns me, but you are stagnant for no mortal. From port to port you flow and gather love, and each mind that plunges in is coolly refreshed for having envisioned you. You are the face in the minds of many, but your name is only known by me. Mortal, for 3 hours you ascended to muse and left the duty of blood unfulfilled.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, that guy was a poet. That was written in 1968. So she would have been born in 1960. He was born in 1947. So he was 3 years older than her, and just very haunted by the fact that he had a sister who never lived to be his sister. So,
wow.
Yeah.
That was your dad that wrote that?
Yeah.
He was an excellent poet.
He was. He almost got his master's degree in English. I think because my sister was born in came along and he had to get a teaching job. He was at University of Missouri, and then he got a teaching job to support, the new baby. And so, yeah, he was writing up to the end. We like collected notebooks from where he lived and everything. So
that is so awesome.
Yeah. He's definitely was encouraging me in my writing all along the way. So good man.
Now you're a curator. Now you can put all those together and,
Exactly. Get those out there. And I told him I was going to do it. I was like, I'll either do that like with Woodneath or something, we'll see. And he thought they were in the safe. I think they're in a notebook that we found. I found it in the garage when I was cleaning out the place to move in here. And so, just got to go through some, I think I know the box that it's in. So it's going to be cool. Because
that is so cool. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah. Proud of him. So
that was like amazing.
Yeah,
so
it was really cool. Kind of like there was like very subtle rhyme scheme, but it was there. It was just like very awesome language. So So
that's why I asked. It wasn't like that disbelief thing, but I was like, your dad wrote
confirming.
That? Like, because
you don't know him. Yeah. I mean, he's, and that's something that he hadn't written a lot of poetry. He wrote a poem to my mom once, and then I found those. When I found, it's like I didn't have any real good examples except for that one he had written when I was like 12 or whatever. And so it was really cool to see that, he's really, really in the poetic mind frame when he wants to be. So it was. Mm-hmm.
Oh, so cool.
So very cool. So what have you for us today?
Well, I have 3 poems. I totally cheating today. This was my cheat day.
That is
cool. I just grabbed something that I already had from a project that I'm doing with the Maxwell Gold.
Oh yeah.
But before I do that, I want to say somebody that can help you publish.
I do.
Anything you want. So
okay, cool.
Yeah, you can do a collaboration with your dad.
Like, oh my gosh, that would be so cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
So that's my 2 cents on all
that.
That
is beautiful 2 cents. Make a note of that. Okay, my phone's. Okay, please read to us.
All right. I will read Restless Entropy. Fast, because I know your phone is dying.
So sorry. No.
We knew we had to be brief today. This is weird day. But it's Cake and Hyperbull. When is it not weird day?
That's right. We made it. We're here. We showed up.
All right. Restless Entropy. And this is that project where he's writing his answer. Yeah, we're going back and forth with the
point, counterpoint. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
question,
I'm not
answer. Call and
read
response.
his because that's his poem, but I will read my version.
Okay, cool.
Her goal is silence, and she travels in waves of flame, ash, and destruction. A screaming vortex, she weeps storms that flatten earth. Her wails destroy towns. She has no control. She reduces. She makes ruin, and she is lonely. The fury she is allows for no peace, no rest. Her rage is the fuel, and her self-hatred a renewable resource for consumption. The mechanism that propels her repels her. She seeks to muffle her loud existence, tearing free all the thunder beating in her chest, hoping to find rest, but peace she will never find. Restless Entropy.
Oh, wow. There is the slight artist madness there that we all endure a sliver of, for sure, at least. So yeah, I found myself identifying with the renewable resource.
I know, of rage and those times when the little voice in your head is saying, "What are you doing? Stop! You're your worst enemy." But the outside, I'm just doing this.
Yeah. Oh yeah, feels so right. Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
Or
I have often said that, hey, I'm a Christian and I was raised as a Christian. If I'm driving, especially when I was younger, and people drove crappy or mean, I was like, the things I would envision doing to them alarm me to this day. I think I was frightening to my parents with the amount of rage I could muster as a young person. So I have to keep that in check. Yes, it's not always easy. So.
Yeah,
to try.
That's hilarious.
Yes,
well, thank you. Yours
spoke
was
to me.
absolutely gorgeous.
Oh, well, I've got one here for another one in honor of my old man, my father. because I also call my husband my old man in just different context. So different context, you get it, right? Okay, so this is for the Farfisa organ that I play in the intro was my father's when he was in college, and he played in a band in college called Din of Iniquity, I may have mentioned. And so I wrote a 4-part poem about the Farfisa. I'm only reading one part of it, part 3. So this is Farfisa part 3. She sings again. Her song is a drug of transcendence, transportation, and colors. Her heavy clicking switches, marked oboe, flute, strings, clarinet, et al., combine in alchemy and in dream potions. I am chained to her now, drinking, chugging her sonata, glugging her tones, sending them, wafting messages 2 miles southeast. One 1967 Manfred Mann song by car to dad in the village's nursing home. Live, rehabilitate, attempt. My dad, toward the end of his life, was very ambitious about getting his mobility back, but he would just have setbacks. He would do physical therapy. He would have to go into the hospital. He had this infection that would just come and not ever get, because you know how antibiotics, you get kind of immune to them and stuff. So it just got worse and worse, and he was unable, but he was always like, well, I'm going to keep doing my physical therapy, and maybe I can get out of here, and you know, stuff like that. So he's very ambitious. So I was like, I'm playing the Farfisa to, you know, inspire, you know, and so every time I play it, I feel a connection to him when he was alive and in a nursing home just 2 miles from my house. And now when he is no longer with us. So
yeah,
that is
so
Farfisa
cool.
part 3. All right.
Awesome.
Well, thank you.
You know,
yeah, go ahead.
I will say, I just want to go on the record of saying I am your fan. You write beautiful poetry.
Thank you.
And I think you should just read more. I mean, I have some. I don't want to put like pressure on you. I
only have one more.
Yeah, mine are all cheaty and everything. I would hate for your phone to die and not have more.
Okay, well, I'll have one more with me, and I will read it quickly. It is from a collection. I have collections going in my Google Docs that I add to as I want to write something that fits into that category. I have one I started a while back called, okay, bear with me, this is a working title, but I still love it. I want to divide it up when I write it out. Hospitalitarian Ismus. Because anything that's an ism in German is Ismus, which I think sounds so cool. Like hospitality, like hospitals, hospitalitarian, because of how, and I will say a quick note, I just viewed hospitals as the villain and you know, keep people alive too long and make them struggle. And I thought one of the worst things that could ever happen would be to die in a hospital. My father died in the hospital, and they made it beautiful. They like made the lighting nice. They were kind to us. They were like, you stay as long as you want. It was the first time I was in a room with someone at the moment of death, which was profound. And I'm glad I was there. And they just made him comfortable. Once they made the decision, I think the struggle comes when people don't necessarily say, okay, I'm ready to let it go. And we didn't know we thought he was going to go into hospice. And then he just ended up going downhill. And my sister called me, like I was getting into bed, and she's like, come on. So like a couple hours later, it was like Friday night.
Oh, wow.
And so anyway, I just wanted to point out that they were not a center point up there. They were wonderful. So
that's awesome.
This is from his September. It's called September Hospitalization. So the one from September. If we were in Berlin, surrounded by arts, the word would be Katheter, an echo of potato. It's the word catheter. You can tell it when you read it. You can't always tell if you hear it. Katheter, an echo of potato. Similar in Hungarian, katheter, but somehow more enchanting. Chanted, ancient, and ageless song. I would rather be elsewhere. If beside a flame-filled stove in Vermont winter, then what beverage? If a cafe alongside San Francisco Bay, what monster would rise, raining from the depths, dimmed by socking fog? Do you deny an old man his dozen hospitalizations? Is your objection sincere? Would you eat, in fact, 11 vegetables a day to prove it? My head thuds half-heartedly at the donut of the morning, curses feebly the day's poison. The end.
I love that.
I'm always very motivated to eat a lot of vegetables with my father's in the hospital, but then like at the same time, like I visited my dad in the hospital, I deserve a donut. So it's very complicated. Hopefully I'll turn it around. So,
yeah, like the karmic bank there.
Mm-hmm. I get a donut now.
Yeah, damn it.
That's right.
I have so few other bad habits.
That's
Give me
right.
the frickin' donut.
Exactly. And maybe just one clove cigarette.
Yes. Well, that's probably why I feel so flat lately, because I gave up sugar again this week.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this month.
Woo!
So but I'm like,
It does.
I need my sugar.
I know, it kind of kicks you in the butt when you
Yeah.
go through with it, which I've not made that decision. So we'll see.
Yes. Well,
I'm just
I
gonna add lots of
raised
vegetables.
190 on a 5-foot frame.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I was like, wow, yes, I've gotten
Yeah.
quite heavy.
It
And
is.
it's not the weight I mind, because that's
Yeah.
54. I can look like what I want now.
Exactly.
It's the feeling, like
Yes.
things are starting to hurt. I'm like,
Mm.
I want to say how I put on my pants in the morning, but they're not like everybody else.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be like, I have no sense of balance now. I need to lose some weight.
Yeah, it is. It's, you start to feel when you've like, surpassed a certain, like, you hit a milestone, and it's like, oh my gosh, running up the stairs now is just not. I used to be very like fleet. It's like, it doesn't have to do with age. It has to do with how much I'm carrying.
Weight, yeah.
Absolutely.
And for me, it's always like 190. I don't even have to look at the scale. I will just all of a sudden be like, wow, I feel like crap.
I know, I've hit
that
it.
I've gained too much weight. So now I'm back on that. I'm doing intermittent fasting and giving up the sugar, and that's been great. It's been November 1st I started. I've lost 5 pounds.
Nice.
But I also have that pity me, because I am not eating sugar right now, and it sucks. And Halloween just happened. Life stinks.
Oh, we cut loose on Halloween, and yes, we did. So I knew I couldn't go cold turkey because we really cut loose at Halloween. So
yeah, well, I envy you, because I had a migraine on Halloween, so I didn't do anything. Well, it was the day before. I was supposed to go to a party, didn't go, but you know what? It's okay, because now I would be like trying to get it off. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it is. It's an SOB, children, when you get to be our age, and you got to think about these things. I'm keenly aware of exactly what number I read in a magazine. If you're this height and this is your weight, now your risk for diabetes, goes up like, triples or something. And I'm like, oh no, that can't happen, because I just saw my father spend like 6 years going out, and it's just,
and we've got diabetes running in our family. That's what killed my grandmother.
Yep.
And my mom had it, and so that's why I'm like, I don't want it.
Don't want it. Don't have it, don't want it. So we can still get in charge. I mean, how you eat really does make a difference.
It does.
For real.
Yeah. So anybody
who's
looking sad and forlorn and depressed, I'm really okay. I'm just trying to lose weight, and it sucks.
It's not the most fun thing. I've done it once before, and then I've abandoned it. I mean, I abandoned it because I hit my goal, and then I wasn't careful, and so it creeps back.
It does.
You just kind of have to monitor it and be like, oh, okay, take a day of like eating less and stuff like that. And I've just like not bothered, because I've been chasing around this sounds like excuses, but we moved. I've been chasing around the hospitals. I was homeschooling my kid, then I wasn't homeschooling. Then COVID. I mean, I'm going to go ahead and say there were a lot of circumstances.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And that's kind of been mine. I've been sitting in the house, and I've been overeating junk. Like I had lost 50 pounds 5 years ago, and felt amazing.
Yes.
And yes, I apologize, because I know I was so obnoxious, and I apologize to everybody who knew me at that time. Like, oh, look, I've lost 10 more pounds. Oh, you shouldn't eat that. That's not healthy. Yeah, I was that person. I really.
I'm sure I gave that to my dad, because I got my weight way down.
The things I will be punished for in hell one day. But,
that's right. Hey, we're all human. That's
So I won't be obnoxious this time, I promise. I understand that, but
we're all not none of us immune. Well, I don't know. Maybe some people are, but
well, those damn super skinny people, but we know they're not human.
That's right. Aliens that are being smug. Smug aliens. Yeah.
They're actually demons put on this earth to haunt us.
I will entertain that notion. Yes, I will.
So
do you have another one for us?
I do. How's your phone, though? I don't want to.
It's at 10%, but I figure, read a couple more. I'll tell about the book I'm reading, and then we can.
Okay. All right. I will read one more, and then I'm not going to do that one. Yeah, I will read this one, and then I want to hear about the book you're reading.
Okay, cool.
All right, this is, you've already heard this too. That's why I'm like, I'm totally cheating today, because
That's okay.
this
Some
is
days
one I've
are.
already written.
You've already written it, yes. Mm-hmm.
And for some reason it says no title yet, but I was sure there was one. But all right. That gash in your heart can be fixed up with some ink scrawled across paper. Just pick up that pen or paintbrush or piano. Do it however. Your own heart knows best. Not to sound trite, but art heals down to our atoms. By evolution or a creator, who cares? We are created and made to create. All on purpose accidents work a deep magic that radiates you to illuminate the world and beyond. And that can save us. Your light can give us all hope if you let it shine. So first, please heal you with pixels, words, paint, or clay. It doesn't matter. Just the simple act of making, of creating, fills your empty space and makes you a whole. And once you are completed, it overflows to the rest of the world, to the rest of us, and we can be made whole too.
That is so true. So true. Beautiful.
You know, it's funny. We were talking about Karens earlier, and I was like, I think Karens are just like, I turn into a total bitch when I'm not creating something. So I think that's the Karen thing. They just all need a paintbrush. Yeah. And I forgot that is actually why I wrote that poem, because there was somebody doing something in a store, and I remember watching it and just going like, why?
You're sad.
Why are you being so bitchy? And then I was like,
love that theory, because I love the idea of all these people who are just really unpleasant. If once they discover that they can do something artistic, they're gonna just the freedom and the joy that will erupt.
Yeah, and I think both you and I can absolutely say I am a different person when I'm not creating stuff. I am a monster. Nobody wants to be around me. I'm horrible. Ryan, my husband, will actually say, "You're being a bitch. Go write something.
Go write your poetry." And I used to think he was making fun of me, because I was messed up because I had not embraced all of this yet. Yeah. And I was kind of a secret poet. He'd be like, just go write a poem about it. And he probably was snarky, but now I'm like, I think I will. And I'm going to give you horns.
So, what's that quote? I will vilify you in fiction, or whatever that is. Yeah, exactly. Oh, eviscerate you in fiction.
I had a friend in a writing class briefly in college. I had a writing class, and there was this gal who came up to me, and I was like, I knew she was in my class, but I didn't really know her. And I'd read my thing out loud, and she's like, well, I just hated you because your story was so good. And so then I wrote a story where I killed you, and now we can be friends. I'm like, you're awesome.
I know. I was like, who was this person?
I know. I was like, really? Because, to me, I don't feel like, hey, man, I'm like the best writer in this room. I felt like, well, I got to read this out loud. And well, whatever. But I had fun writing it. That was the main thing. But to her, it was like how I have felt like when I've heard other people and I've been like, why do I bother? It's like, whoa, I made somebody feel that. That's too cool.
That is awesome.
That's great.
I love her response.
I do too.
See, and that's what we should do, people. When you want to kill somebody, that's natural to want to kill people.
Yeah.
Just put it on paper. Yep. Stab them with a pen.
That's right. And you can make it as gross as you want.
I know. Have fun with it. Be evil. Be absolutely evil.
Creatively evil. This is a human thing, and then you didn't do it for real.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome.
All right, tell me about this book you're reading.
I'm reading Hallucinated City by Mario de Andrade, who is a Portuguese writer. Well, actually, this was written in 1920 or 1922. The translation is by Jack E. Tomlins, and this is totally from the 60s at some point. I discovered this. I was just looking through the Poets Glossary, which we love, by Edward Hirsch. And under H's, you'll find hallucinism. Hallucinism is like a school of poetry that is the duration of this book. This guy is like, now hallucinism begins. And at the end of the book, he's like, the school of hallucinism has ended. So
that is awesome. Now I really want to do hallucinism too.
I do too. So that's what I was thinking. I was like, if we wanted to make hallucinism our form for next month, we could just be like,
we gotta do that. I think.
To me, it's just this beautiful use of words. I mean, and I have to credit the translator. because I don't know Portuguese, but if it's
Mhm.
anything like the real, he apparently like changed the course of like he was ridiculed when he published it, but then changed the course of Brazilian poetry or something
That's
over
awesome.
time. So
Well, and
yeah.
my son-in-law is Brazilian, and
Oh
he's a
wow.
translator. So now I got to be like, I got to get that name
Yeah.
from you so I can say, "Have
Yeah.
you ever read this?" And
It's so good. I'm going to read just some beloved phrases I wrote at Panera
Yeah.
from Hallucinated City. It's a poem called Sunday. Warmly in gasolines. Somebody did something warmly in gasolines. And mooch cigarettes for 2 weeks on. And Phyllis, what a dress. Practically naked. This is so my stuff. I mean, this is so the yawn of luxury. The young girls are disturbed from thinking about German films. And then I did mark one called You. What I wanted to read, like, I like your Turkish crime desires and your ambition twisted as swindlers. I mean, oh my gosh. The use of words is a drug in this book. It
that
is
is
so
awesome.
much fun.
Wait, what is that book called?
Hallucinated City by
Okay.
Mario de Andrade. There, I'll try and get it.
I am
Translated by Jack Tomlins.
clicking off my Day of the Dead Wikipedia thing because I did not do that very well. And I'm going to look up this.
Hallucinated City. I actually got it secondhand.
Hallucinated.
I got it from Amazon. I think my copy was like $50, but I was like, it's my birthday. So I got it. And I love it. And so, oh my god.
Is it Andre?
Mario is the first name. The
Oh.
last name is Day, small D-E, and then Andrade, Andrade.
Andre. All right. I have that. I am going to find out if my son-in-law,
Yes.
Louise, has ever read that and what does he think. And I'm going to get a copy.
Woo! It is so worth it. Oh my gosh. So hallucinism is revived. We can do a hallucinism poem for next month. If you want.
All right. Yeah, no, I'm all for it. Is there a style, like what makes it a hallucination?
I'm going to reread what Edward Hirsch said, and then I'm going to Google it. But I was so compelled by the entry in the Poets Glossary that I friggin' spent $50 on the book. So
that is, yeah.
So that's for December. Oh my gosh, I will try. You guys, I know everybody is not like me. I will try not to be a complete Christmas freak next month because I'm already writing songs and I'm going to put tinsel in my hair and I'm going to play my harp. Oh, I can't wait. That's going to be fun. It's actually going to be quite a remedy, to like difficult times. And then it's going to be like, well, tinsel everywhere. Hey, everybody. So I'll try not to bring you loads and loads of sugar. I'll just bring you things with tinsel on them.
Okay, tinsel.
Yes.
Yes, and I will try to not be a Grinch and a Scrooge because Christmas is usually when I'm like,
yes,
consumerism, evil. Why do we even have
wrong.
Christmas?
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody knows Jesus wasn't even born at this time of year. This is a pagan holiday. Yes, I'll just
not roasting. I'll be over there singing, Mel Torme and what have you. So,
but that's why we work together because I'll be like, you know what? I accept all your Christmas spirit. You can Christmas spirit all you want.
Yeah, and I embrace your darkest evening of the year. Dark.
Yeah, and I will not feel obligated to be like, oh yeah, Merry Christmas.
No need to say it. No need to join in if you don't want to. Only do it if it's But man, tell me all your great darkness of the year folklore. I've got a really cool book about that I don't remember the title of, so I need to. It's the magic of, I forget what it's called. I got to go look on my folklore shelf and see what I've got because it's.
Well, it used to be a tradition to tell ghost stories on Christmas Eve. Yeah, that's reviving. There is a movement to revive that. So maybe we might have to have a midnight cake and Hyperbull sometime.
Oh, yeah. I think we should. Oh my gosh, that'd be great. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna start writing some ghosty poetry and finding some ghosty poetry. Oh, and that's what I was like. Oh, I'm gonna take Angela because there's this cake pan I've shown you that we used when I was homeschooling for every ghost story. Every 13th of the month, we learned through ghost stories like geography and vocabulary.
Oh,
and
that's awesome.
Like there was a story with something called turf buns / fat rascals. They were some kind of Scottish bun, and we're like, let's make those and let's do math by halving the recipe or thirding or whatever. And so we have this cake pan from Nordic Ware. We talked about it, I think, in our last thing, and it's like it is so shaped like a ghost. There are folds in the shroud and
wow,
ghosty, iconic. I'm like, I'm gonna take that to Angela on the dark night, and whatever. But if you're not doing sugar, No problem. We'll.
Oh, well,
do
you know,
something.
I do say that, and I had pancakes this morning because I did
had
fast
waffle.
yesterday. Yeah,
Yes,
it's
see?
more like I'm only intermittent fasting
Right.
and not purchasing it, not going out to get it. But if it shows up on my door,
you can divide it among family.
yeah,
and
that would be
friends.
so rude to
I
not
know.
eat it.
I would hate to impose it on you, but if you're really against it, I've got other ideas as well. So yeah. Something ghosty. So,
yeah, I've had so much fun, and I know this probably is I can say this to you. I have had so much fun chopping up your desserts on those little films with my little hatchet.
I love that cleaver. I was like, this is the best. Everybody look, I'm showing my family. And I think I storied it or reposted it or something.
Yeah, and Pete called it the subtle hatchet, and I was like, love that.
Our poet friend Pete is weaving the words.
I
love this community. It's great.
I know.
So nice. Well,
so yeah, that's what will happen. If a cake shows up on my door, it will be eaten, but it will be hatcheted first.
Hatchet the ghost. Yes. Oh boy. I'm so excited. I do love the ghost stories. I mean, when I found that out, I was in the middle of homeschooling and I was like, oh, I think I'm going to faint.
What a
great
idea.
Our homeschool is about to go to the next level. And I think my son was probably like, yawn, but I was like, well, I'm having so much fun. So I had a great time. Everybody rest assured I had a great time.
That's all that matters. But you know what? Our kids have a great time and we have a great time.
That's right. That's right. And he has said to me, he's in public school now. He's like, my music appreciation teacher, mom, he's like you. He is so excited to share this information. I'm like, I know, I talked to him at conference. We had a great time. I told him that your dad and I met at the radio station in college. Wow. So yeah, life is delicious, folks. Just in case you didn't know.
It is.
You'll want to join us next time on Cake and Hyperbull.
Yeah. So what do you think? Hallucinogen poems, or how do you call them?
Hallucinism. So it's
hallucinismus poems. We can even do ghost themes.
Yes,
because it's Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
I'm writing this down.
Yeah, me too.
So I don't forget this time.
Well, that's my problem. I write it in a journal, and then I just keep writing in the journal, and I lose where it was. So I'm writing it in this, and I'm going to go make a big poster of it and stick it on my bulletin board or something.
I've got sticky notes. I've got piles of sticky notes all over my desk. So
I'm a very visual person. I will forget to take my son to that haircut if I don't look at it. I always put it by my coffee where I make my coffee. I'm like, oh, okay, so that's what's happening today. Or on the steering wheel of the car if I need to remember it while I'm driving. Not while I'm driving.
Or on my phone. You can get those little ones. And I stick those on the back of my phone. That way, if I touch my phone, there's a reminder.
It's like the string on the finger they did in the olden times.
Yeah.
Like, I'm supposed to remember something.
All right. So, hallucinism poem. Yep. Next, Cake and Hyperbull, which will be the first Saturday of December.
Yes.
Even if we have to pre-record, we will do that.
Yep.
And then we're going to use ghost story themes. Do you want to up it up a notch?
Yes.
Bump it up a notch and put mausoleum cake in there since we did forget that. And that kind of goes with that.
People might have been waiting for that. Okay, so
I
we will not disappoint you next month, world.
We will be on it. It's been a crazy month. We have had multiple weird crazinesses happen.
Yes, we have. We have.
Yeah.
Crazinesses and life and death and destruction.
Yeah.
I mean, discussion. That's the song. When I was recording the song, I had to stop myself. I always wanted to say life and death and destruction. And no, it's discussion. And I have to credit Rena Ine because when we were going to promote their poetry book, I was trying to write some sort of intro, and they'd written a lot about oh wow, these poems are like life and death, and so I was like, oh, and I was at the same time writing the Cake and Hyperbull song. I'm like, well,
I'm taking that.
That's right. Oh, thank you. Pluck.
It's all fertile soil. We just keep throwing out the shit, and then
the big ideas
just grows.
That's right. Exactly. Well, thank you all for being with us, and thank you, phone, for not croaking yet. I think it's kind of close. So.
And thank you for being with us. And I am, you know what I'm saying without saying it and everything.
And I appreciate that. You're a good friend, and this has been a joy. Like doing this today is a nice, normal, fun. I loved preparing for it.
Good.
I do have the luxury of a flexible schedule, so I could be like, yeah, I'm gonna throw myself into that, and so that's been a pleasure.
Yeah,
so.
and I love not preparing for it. So.
Yeah, I love the result. It's like you're like kamikaze poet, you know, you're just like
words, spinning them on the page. Gotta go.
I love that. I love the whole like, you know, the Jackson Pollock like flinging the paint kind of thing, you know. That's, I mean, that is energetic poetry right there.
That's funny.
So
here's the words, play.
That's right. Maybe in January we'll do like write a 5-minute poem or something.
Oh, we should.
Make a note of that too.
Yeah,
so for January. I really am looking forward to.
Yeah, that would be fun. Do some like kind of
yeah, like time challenges or something.
Yeah, I can't think of the word. I'm trying to think of guerrilla poems.
Oh yeah, ooh, that's good. Yeah, just and just hit and run. Yeah, I like it. All right.
Well, thank you so much, Amy. And there we go. Perfect timing. So that is officially the end of this Cake and Hyperbull. Amy just had a very dramatic exit. And I thank you all. And Amy thanks you all from me for being here. And we will see you again next month, first Saturday of the month, for the next Cake and Hyperbull. And thank you.